Okay, processing time cards in Payroll. So we're going into Payroll and then on the time card batches tab. This lists all the past batches that we've processed in the past. So this one was done on the 15th of January. So these are all past post, or this whole batch of employees were posted on that particular date, and a batch is driven by the date. So each date you generate a payroll for on a same date will be in the same batch. You can add to a batch if employee hasn't been paid or need to pay additional pay. You'd come into this same batch, or you can create a new batch. So creating a new batch, you simply click the add button. You pick the day that the employees are being paid. So the 31st of January in this case. And then I can add employees to this batch. I can choose them by payroll department, by period. So if I only want to pay my 24 pay period employees, I can choose that, or I can choose add all time cards, and I'll do that. Okay, so all the employees have been added to this batch with their default pay. So this top person is a salaried employee, but may also have some regular pay. So we can go ahead and click on them here and add to their regular pay. So they've got 3 hours of hourly pay as well. Next employee is salaried, and I keep going down the list. I go to the bottom one here, and I can see this person is paid by default 40 hours at $25 an hour rate. I can go ahead and hit add pay, and I can choose overtime, and it puts the overtime rate for this department on there, or for him specifically. The add pay button only will show you time card entry codes that are assigned to this employee. If you want to get other time card entry codes, you would do the lookup button here, and you'll see that there's others available. So in this case, if I'm giving him some commission for some reason, I can choose commission off this list, put in the amount, $150. Okay, and then I can keep adding to this as I need. We'll see that this employee is also being paid extended medical of $15, and he's also got a deduction for an employee social fund. As we add to an employee, note their gross pay and their net pay here are right here. If I add to this employee, so I'll just change this amount to say $500, you'll note that those totals change right away. So you're seeing what their gross and net pay is as soon as you add it. Okay, some items are editable in this line. So tax, if you need to override for some reason the amount of the tax being charged, these are the automatic ones based on the tax tables. Same as EI, CPP. You can also edit a few others. So we go down the list here. You can also edit the WCB, RSP contribution, union dues, and that's it. Okay, so to explain some of these, we got obviously the gross pay for the employee, the federal tax, the EI, CVP, QPP, their net pay, their taxable, their periods, the period that they're being paid this time around. So we're paying period 2 here, and it's -0 means it's their first check for this period. It would get a -1 if it was an irregular pay. The check number, if you're paying by check, will appear here after posting, as will the transaction. This tells us if it's posted, if it's an irregular pay or not, if it's been reversed, and if they're set up for direct deposit. They all are, except for the last employee. Their total hours this pay period, their insurable, pensionable, compensation, RSP contribution, union dues, vacation paid, other benefits, which is the $15 amount we've got under extended here, and the other deductions. You'll see the $5 here. So that's the information on the time card. If for some reason we need to change this period, if we were future paying, we hadn't done period 2 yet, we can also click on the change period button, and you choose all the 24 periods. So these employees are all 24 period in my case. And I can switch them up to change them all to period 3 and click OK, and it'll change them all to period 3. Okay. Then we can also click on the Show UDF button, and that's just UDFs for the whole batch. I haven't got any set up here. I do, however, have them set up on the line by line for the time cards. So I go Show UDF here. This is a time off reason, obviously spelt wrong. We can actually fix that. Go Edit. That's the field. Time off reason. So that's the UDF field that I've created for this. Okay, so time off reason, if they took a few days off, we're just subtracting pay for them. We can key that in here on each of the lines. Okay. Okay, once we get all the pay entered and we're ready to process it, we can go ahead and hit the post time card. So we can post all are selected. So let's just do one to start with. Say we're still working on the pay, but this person requires a check, and we're gonna print it for them. We can select just this one, and we can hit post time cards, post selected, and it will then just print a check for the one. So I'll just choose check here, and I can preview that. Let's go check top. Okay, so there's the check that printed for them. And then if I go back here, you'll see now we have a check number, and they've all been the transaction numbers is set on here. So now we finished the rest of it. We can go ahead and click post all. Even if the one that's there has already been posted, we don't have to worry about it because it won't post again, obviously. Okay, so we hit post all. And we can again print checks or direct deposit slips in this case, and then hit cancel. Okay, so now these are all posted, and at this point I can view a transaction for each one of them separately. So this is the one employee, Frank, here that we looking at the posting, the GL posting that happened when we processed that time card. Okay, so what we'll probably want to do now is if we're set up for direct deposit, we can go and export the EFT file. So we hit export. This is the date we need to enter for when it hits the bank. So we may have processed the time cards for the 31st, but if that falls on a weekend, we can backdate this so that it, when we upload the file to the bank, it hits the bank on that particular day. We click OK. Pops up this. We can download the CPA file of which we can then upload to the bank. So we'll just cancel this. Okay. Okay, one last thing you want to show you is that you can also void a check. So if you've made a mistake on a check or something needs to be added to it, you can just highlight the person that's being voided, then just click void. Are you sure you want to void it? It reverses it exactly the same way. So you'll see the two are side by side here. And this one became a -1. Okay, and it was a reversal. Okay, then we can go ahead and redo the check by putting Julie back in here. So we can simply start typing her name, Julie. Okay, sorted by employee number, so it added it in. I can now put the correct amount in here. So maybe she had 6 hours of regular, and then I can go ahead and post that particular one. I can put post all again. It won't only do the one. So that we post that, I won't bother printing it. And you'll see now that this became a -2, but it was not marked as an irregular pay because the first one was voided. If I left Julie's pay and added another pay to it, and I put Julie in there again, we'll see that it gets an irregular flag. And what happens with irregular is it does not charge or benefits and deductions, things like that. So those things are left off because it knows that to only do them once per period. Okay, and that's it for time cards.